having a brain is like being given a supercomputer without an instruction manual. How the fuck do we operate this? It's like seeing people go through their day-to-day life with chains on and they're bound and they can't move. And releasing those bounds is incredibly rewarding. Working with clients and looking at how far they've come, how confident they are in their content, how much they're charging for their service. Procrastination isn't the problem. It's a symptom of the problem. It comes down to a fear of it not working out, a fear of us being ridiculed, a fear of us getting too overwhelmed and stressed. Fuck it. And then we piss ourselves off by not doing it. You get to pick how that impacts you. And that's what we're talking about here. Is that cool? Is it pissing you off? Yeah. Why? Embarrassed? Why?
If I gave you 90 seconds to deliver a message to everyone who was looking for some advice and wanted to change, what would you say to them? Jack Tipper, welcome to the show. What's the journey that you've been on that's brought you to where you are today in the work that you do?
For me, looking back, I was always an anxious child without even realizing it. Anxious teenager, and then really started to like notice it. I guess you don't something could be happening, but it's not in your awareness. You don't even know it's happening, right? So the anxiety really started to come about when I was drinking with the boys. Now I wasn't drinking every single day. It was just literally standard UK lad culture, Friday, Saturday nights every single week, right? That really started to just trigger these anxiety attacks, anxiety episodes, feeling very anxious in oneself. Then I started to really think or almost label myself as someone who struggled with mental health. That was just kind of like my label. And then really ramped things up with going through like dating periods or seeing people or getting into relationships and feeling the need to be validated by another person. So again, re-emphasized how low I was feeling about myself. And then lockdown happened. And I'd just come back from Thailand, straight into lockdown, and then got into self-development. I was like, I need to do something about how I'm feeling. The gyms are closed, can't see the boys, I'm bored, like done on my full-time jobs. And I just got into self-development, meditated, done a bit of breath work and a cold shower. Didn't even know what that stuff was, but I did it, and I was like, okay, I feel good. I like it. This sounds really silly, but how I do things or what I do dictates how I feel. And then I was like, I'll do it for the next day. Got into reading, content, everything about mental health and mindset. And then, the last 4 or 5 years has then been like a blink of an eye, to be honest, with the whole mindset journey. So I guess very, very, very long story short, that's how we've ended up here. Obviously, a lot of stuff happened in between with the business and mindset and stuff like that. But that is, I guess, the start of the story of the catalyst to where I am now, I guess.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I think, that the mindset space as a whole, there are a lot of people within the space. And I suppose one of the things I want to ask you is like, how do you avoid becoming a cliche in your own industry?
Good question. I think I say that word a lot in my one-to-one calls and sometimes in my content as well, because a lot of this stuff can be cliche. I feel like the upswing of content production and the consumption of content in this day and age of social media naturally makes things sound cliche because you hear things so often. And something I often say to people is something along the lines of, this is going to sound cliche, but I think this saying or phrase or whatever is there for a reason. I think it, concepts and phrases transcend eras and they travel through time because they are really, really, they're really, really helpful. But I think we consume so much content, we almost desensitize ourselves to it. And it's really hard to then actually take that stuff on board as a consumer of content. So, part of my job is to actually try to spread the word, so to speak, that this shit actually works and can actually be helpful. But going back to your question, I think it's hard. I think it's hard to stand out, not just from a business perspective or not just from a content production perspective, but I think it's actually quite hard to stand out with what actually works and not just being Mr. Motivator and not just saying, be confident. That's where the work I do with the subconscious mind and that actual mindset coaching, getting someone from A to B is where it really stands out. But, you've kind of got to be in it to experience it. So you do have to kind of be careful with the content you're producing. So yeah, I guess going back to your question again, it's hard. It's hard not to be a cliche because the work is, in essence, cliche. Think positively is basically what I do, but there is so many layers to that. It's almost funny, because it's so much easier said than done. But yeah, once you're in it and you experience it, then the game changes for you. Even that sounds cliche, but the game really does change, and you step outside the matrix a little bit of like, oh shit, you can actually really change how you think. I don't know if I answered your question in a roundabout way, but it's tricky.
Yeah, it's not an easy question. And, I experience it in this industry too.
Mm,
And it's hard because the cliched stuff has stood the test of time for a reason.
mm,
And sometimes the thirst for novelty
mm,
can end up with this is why you end up in just extremely alternative spaces, right? Because people are just so fed up of hearing the same thing over and over again. And I suppose if they've heard this thing, they've not acted on it. So it's like, well, I can forage over here for another idea that's never been explored before or whatever, and maybe I'll get some answers there. And
mm,
it's a very nuanced point in terms of like where does the best insights and wisdom really come from? And
mm,
I find myself because I do quite a lot of solo episodes on this,
mm,
uh, and then I'll have someone message me say that they've been listening to the show, and the other week I was like, "Oh, which one you been listening to?" And they're like, "Solo episode 22," and I was like, "Mhm, what the fuck was I on about?" And it
yeah,
was like so far away. And she said, "Well, you said on your there's this and this little framework that you come up with, or what are these ideas?" And I was like, "Huh," and I'm like. And some of that was like pretty useful and that
mm,
I could act upon now. And it's not exactly the same point as we're saying, but it's like some of those, we don't always have to be coming up with new ideas. It's like,
mhm.
we can revisit stuff that works. So my question to you is after that little ramble is, you've got that first layer, which is positive thinking, right? What is on the like pyramid what sits underneath those in those sort of big cliched ideas that are a cliche for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, this foundational stuff. What we're talking about here, and it's applicable to everyone because everyone has a brain, everyone thinks, everyone has an identity, everyone has beliefs, and it completely forms their external reality. And that, for me, is everything. The world that we see is a reflection of our internal world. What we believe to be true about ourselves, who we think we are. We see that externally, and that can be quite hard to even understand as like what does that even mean? But thinking positively, yeah, that's all well and good. And I had said this to someone a couple of hours ago on a consultation call. I said, if you was a robot, I would just program you to think confidently about your business and the way you'd go and you'd make more money because you'd push yourself out your comfort zone, etc. But we are emotional beings with beliefs and identity, like I said, and that is what we are driven by. So, you know, if I had 10 seconds to speak to every human being, and I thought, I need to something quite profound here or helpful, is you the quality of your life and the things that you can achieve and the things that you can have is very much dictated on who you think you are. And then secondly, you can change that from a subconscious level, which is why I have a job and why my business exists and any other mindset coach exists, is to try to get people to first of all understand that they can change, and then two, help them actually change. Um, I think people, I think people think that they are who they are and that's just who they've always have been and they can never change anything. But that's such a limited way of thinking. And it's incredibly damaging if they have pursuits they want to go after and goals they want to achieve. It's not even just about thinking positively. It's about taking radical responsibility and ownership of who you are and understanding that we are molded by what's happened to us. And that wasn't entirely our fault. Most of it's from childhood, or traumatic experiences that we've gone through jobs, relationship breakdowns, etc. But yeah, you can change all that. And I think once people realize that, that's where the rewarding work comes in, and that transformation actually occurs. And going back to your question for a specific answer is beliefs. It's what we believe about ourselves. It's who you think you are. It's, you know, what you think you can do, um, and everything else as a byproduct of changing those things and improving those things will be impacted at a positive level. Emotions, how you see the world, how you talk to yourself, the quality of your relationships, the money you can make, the shape you're in physically, everything else, emotionally, spiritually, um, can have just, it was like a cascading effect of positive things, if this is making any sense. Once you understand your belief systems and who you think you are, um, it takes positive thinking to obviously a whole new level. And this is where the whole, going back to your point about content being cliche and just finding new things constantly and trying new things constantly, it's really complicated, because me and you could watch the same bit of content and we would take it really differently in, like, for each of us. And again, that's why the one-to-one full mindset exists, because everyone has their own internal representation of what's going on and how to improve things. So it's the most bespoke thing you could ever do. We could read the same self-development book and we take it differently. So try not to go too much off on a tangent here, but it's just incredibly rewarding once you kind of dive into this work. And it's a little bit of a gift and a curse. You have to bring some shit to the surface to try and deal with it. But yeah, like I said, this is not just about thinking positively. It's regulating yourself emotionally. It's improving your relationships, like I said. And yeah, without repeating myself, there's just so much more work that comes from shifting who you think you are. In essence, if I had to boil it down, it's shifting who you think you are, and the snowball effect that comes from that is, well, life changing, I'd say.
I feel like if I was to take a stab at the type of people that would come to you, would be those that know they need to change. And then I wonder if, what about those ones like in between? Or I suppose like the question would be, how would you convince a high performer that they have beliefs that are still holding them back? So those people who are already doing well, but you may spot something that they don't. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfect sense. I think, you know, if I'm having a conversation with someone, one of these high achievers, high performers, and I say, like, how are things going? You know, are you working towards your, going to sound very vague here, goals? Are you working towards your goals? You know, is everything moving in the right direction? If the answer is yes and they're feeling good, then they don't need me. They don't need my help. They're good. But in essence, you know, very, very simply put, in essence, if there is a gap between where you are now and where you want to be, very much coachy talk here, very much A to B talk, but if there is a gap between where you are now and where you want to be, and it doesn't feel like you can get there, you know, you know what to do, you have the time to do it. Worst comes to worst, you can chat GPT a strategy to get there, whether it's business, physique, whatever. You know what to do or who to ask or how to get the information. There is likely something that's blocking you. And it's the sentence that I hear time and time again in DMs or in sales calls or in coaching calls. I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. And I feel stuck. I feel like there's a blocker here. I go to do something and I'm pulling myself back. Well, why is that? No one's stopping you. Why is that? Why are you procrastinating? You're the same person that wants it. So they're the indicators that I'd be looking out for or listening out for to, again, prove my point. And it's, again, my opinion, but it's to try to prove my opinion of, well, if there's nothing like tactically or logistically stopping you from bridging that gap between A to B and whatever your pursuits are, then you're standing in your own way, period. And of course, I'm saying this is like a blanket policy statement. You know, talking to the person is going to really then identify if there is any blockers, but we just try to listen out for these things. Neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, is what I'm trained in, and that's how I coach. And a big part of that is the L, the linguistics. It's understanding someone's internal dialogue. So I'll be listing out for things like block, or feel like I'm slowing myself down, or I just can't get there. And these are really good indicators of subconscious blockers that a lot of people are struggling with, even though even the people at the quote unquote top, they have these blockers because they're trying to achieve the next thing. And again, if they know who to ask or what to Google or they know what to do, then they're standing in their own way more often than not. And that's, again, the word that I'm trying to spread and the work that I'm trying to do at biggest level possible to try to reach as many people and get them out of their own way to, yeah, go after what they want. Again, sounding very cliche, but to go after what they want in essence.
Do you know, I've actually, I never knew what NLP was. So it's neuro-linguistic programming, is that right?
Yeah, linguistic, yeah, like language. Yeah.
So how you talk influences how you behave or see yourself.
Yeah, so I think it's like, so neuro is like how your body and brain like almost connect with one another, like how your wires together. Linguistic is your internal representation. It's that voice of how you describe things, that goes, that narrative voice, and how you describe your internal world. And then programming is, well, like a laptop or a computer, is how you're wired together will impact your behaviors, your actions, your emotions, your thoughts, and then that dictates your external reality. I'm baffled as to how like children aren't educated on this, like, because everyone has a brain. It's like being born. I think so, I heard someone describe this one. Being born and having a brain is almost like being given a supercomputer without an instruction manual. It's like, how the fuck do we operate this? And it's no wonder we have challenges. So yeah, here I come, try to spread the word, so to speak.
Yeah, it's funny actually, because I just thought then, like you say, having a brain is like having this supercomputer, and there's a weird commonality there with like our phones. Like there's the most amazing devices, but most people don't use them, to their potential. They use them to actually make themselves worse.
Numb.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Why do you think we procrastinate?
Good question. I mean, if you do procrastinate, turn your volume up. So I mean, most people think that procrastination is either like a laziness issue or a time management issue, or they don't know what to do, or they're bored. It's not. That's like a symptom of the problem. That's not the problem. It's a procrastination isn't the problem. It's a symptom of the problem. So there's a number of reasons, and again, I'll just be choosing my answer based on my experience of myself and who I work with and what I've seen thus far. So typically, it would be linked to, and they're one of the same thing, either a belief or a lack of belief, I guess, or a fear. Now, procrastination typically, for I've experienced with business owners that I coach and have coached before, it's normally fear of failure, potentially fear of judgment, depending on what you're looking to do, or maybe even fear of success. So thinking back, zooming out now, thinking back to how human psychology works and human behavior, we are, as human beings, still alive to this day because of our one primary function: stay alive. Number one, stay alive. Whatever you do, just stay alive. That's why we think more negative over the positive, because we need to stay alive, right? We're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger and the river is safety. We're focusing way more on how close the tiger is behind us compared to how close we are to the river. We're driven by fear. We need to avoid it at all costs. That's a helpful understanding first and foremost. Now, when we go to do certain things, unknowingly to us in our subconscious mind, the little programming back here that's not even in our conscious awareness, there is very, very quick 0.1 second or even quicker little processes and thought patterns that are happening. And we will really be procrastinating on the things that like mean a lot to us or are going to be really important for us to do. We see it in business. Let's say, for example, I've got a really cool business idea or a really great product or offer I want to launch in my business. Yeah, it could work. I could make money. I could go places with it. Great. But again, the saber-tooth tiger thing, right? I'm way more motivated by not dying, AKA not failing with this business idea. So what I would love to do is just park this to one side and go and make a coffee. And then I'll go print off that thing I needed to for this thing. And then, you know, oh, my phone needs an update. And then, oh, I can like take the bins out. That will take a minute. And it's next thing you know, it's the end of the day. Well, you're not going to do it now because you're kind of tired. And then the next day comes around. And people, again, that sentence, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. Well, your subconscious is that little voice in your head that's like, yeah, but what if it doesn't work out? And this could be setting up a dating profile. What if I get rejected? This could be taking on that project to work. Yeah, but what if I get overwhelmed? I'm scared of that. So procrastination, typically with the stuff that really matters, it comes down to a fear of it not working out, a fear of us being ridiculed, a fear of us getting too overwhelmed and stressed. Fuck it, I'd rather just not do it. And then we piss ourselves off by not doing it. So that's in my opinion the real reason most of the time why I procrastinate. Yeah, sometimes it'd be because it's boring and we don't want to do it, but most of the time that's not the case, especially not for the important stuff that matters.
Yeah, it's a funny one, like, because I speak to my therapist about this a little bit, and I think I think she likes to put it down to ADHD, because I cannot help but do things last minute, all of my life, and it's like it's almost like that novelty and the stress and cortisol and I would imagine adrenaline that comes along with last minute prep to then activate the reason to do it. And it's like for me, like doing a podcast that publishes every week without fail is the best option because I need that pressure. And also like it works quite well because I'm having meetings with people, so I can't not attend. So like, you know, if it's solo episodes, most of the time I'm doing them the night before. You know, because it's me, and then I'm like, oh well, like you say, I'll do the washing up, or maybe I should rest today. You know, maybe I deserve, you know, a bit of a rest. And it's funny. I'm like, how do we try and trick ourselves into like this fake deadline? And I guess like it's probably down, you know, things like accountability and stuff. And yeah, I'm quite big on a lot of that stuff. Like I built a habits app, which has like social accountability baked in, so you kind of your friends can see you and stuff like that. So I'm always like trying to use as many of these, I guess, like pressure accountability methods to force me to publish on time and do stuff. But yeah, I do wonder, you know, besides just saying, well, it's ADHD, is there a belief in there? Is there something deeper?
Potentially, it's hard to say. It's you know, everyone's got their individual. It's not, you know, I can't sit here and go, well, I know exactly what it is, you know, about digging into detail and finding, maybe seeing patterns. But again, like who knows, there could be a belief that you formed when you were 11, and then when you done the homework at the end of the 6 weeks holiday, you were like, oh, I believe I can do stuff last minute. I like that pressure. But who knows, right? It really does depend. Is it a fear driving that? Is it a belief that you find safety in doing it? Like there could be a few different moving parts there, but I'm one to believe that you were not born that way. So something has happened to you, or a string of events have happened to you, which has formed this tendency that makes you feel somewhat safe or comfortable in a pressured environment. Just for argument's sake, with the limited information that I have, that would be my guess.
It's interesting. As soon as you said was it about like being like rewarded for doing it last minute? Kind of, I don't know if I interpreted that, but that hit a chord because it's like that kind of like blagging it, you know. And like I grew up dyslexic, didn't find out until I was 21, and it kind of it's that ability to be probably intelligent enough that I can do it last minute and kind of do a good job. So then you get rewarded with it, that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and then if you don't do that, then maybe you're not going to produce good enough work, so you'd rather not. So you keep yourself in this like high pressure state because it might feel safe to your subconscious mind to stay there, even though consciously we're like, it's not safe. Why would I want to be in pressure?
Yeah.
Your subconscious is like, well, look, it's always worked, so why would I stop it now? So it's like in coaching, especially mindset coaching, there's no such thing as good or bad. It's serving and not serving. So, you know, in like 6 weeks holiday as a 10-year-old where you want to play football for 6 weeks and then like execute the homework on the last day, serving. Business project, not serving, stress the fuck. So it's like, how's it going to work? But who's to know with, you know, if it was ever full on conversation, maybe we could find out a little bit more. But again, it's like that. People aren't the way they are. Like that doesn't fucking exist. It's we're all born the same, and then that second of life kicks in. Then you're influenced by parents, surroundings, upbringing, school, food, money, you know, survival tactics. So who knows?
If you're anything like me, you're probably good at starting habits, but fail to stick to them over the long term. There's probably one or two, whether that be going to the gym or taking the dog for a walk, but struggle to maintain others around career, relationship, or life goals. If you're a long-term listener of the podcast, this won't be the first time you've heard me talk about habits and leveraging public accountability. That's why I created InDeep, the tool that helps you build healthy habits and stick to them. My productivity has gone through the roof since I started using it. Luckily for you, I'm giving away 100 free VIP months to my podcast listeners. There's no credit card required. Head to indeep.com/podcast. That's deep with 2 I's, INDIIP.com/podcast, or follow the links in the episode description below. Let's start crushing our habits today. And it's funny how like, and we'll step away from this in a minute, but like how even with like tasks that I enjoy, you know, it doesn't even have to be stuff that like, I mean, I'll enjoy most of my work to the extent where I work a lot. And that, like, once I get into it, I can work very, very long hours. I think maybe that's probably a little bit of it. I'm terrified of that long stint that will probably happen once I get going. And then I'm like, you know, working until 1 o'clock in the morning. But it's like, well, so podcast prep, right? Every time, so I'll prep the day before. Never happens. Unless it's an early morning. So like today, so today, because we're recording in the afternoon, I knew I had the morning. So it's like, so that thing wasn't there. But once I get going with it, and once I like switch my brain on and start thinking about, well, what do I want to talk to Jack about? Then I'm like going, and then it's like, yeah, why did I put it off? I really enjoy thinking about like my curiosity you know.
Yeah, it's almost hilarious that you like, you know, you feel good after a run, but you're like, oh no, I want to stay in bed on my phone. You're going to feel like shit. Yeah, I know, but I want to. Why? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But it does.
Very similar, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So one of my favorite social media followers at the moment is Sophie Jones, and she recently posted on her story that she'd been working with you. Now, I wouldn't ever ask you to break client confidentiality. So my question to you is, what has working with Sophie Jones taught you about yourself and your work as a coach?
I mean, yeah, I love Sophie. She's great personality. It was actually we worked together a couple of years ago now, I think it was. So it was actually quite a while before, you know, she started really ramping up social media and, you know, started building, I guess, like a brand or a personal brand, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I can't sit here and say it was, you know, directly that caused it. But yeah, we did a lot of great work when we started working together. So I guess the answer or the thoughts I'm having to formulate an answer to your question, I guess, spread out into like other clients I'm currently working with and have worked with before. And it really doubles down the self limitations of what we think we can do. And I think about myself now that I'm talking, more thoughts are coming to me about, okay, what does this question allow me to think about? You know, the concept of anxiety is coming up to me now, and lack of confidence, and feeling like I need to make people laugh in order to hide the insecurities. Like, fuck that. That was such a limited way of thinking that I had, but it was just a belief that I had that I wasn't good enough. And if a girl liked me and I was dating someone, then I was good as a guy. If I was single and I wasn't dating anyone, then I wasn't good enough. If I didn't make someone laugh, I wasn't good enough to be in this conversation. All these kind of thoughts, right? And now, you want to do a podcast with me tomorrow? Sweet, do it. No prep. You want to do it on stage tomorrow in front of God knows how many people? Yeah, fuck it. I'll be nervous, but run it. Where's anxiety? Like, where is this? Where is this? I'm not good enough. Well, it doesn't exist anymore. But hang on, I've not died and been reborn as someone different. I'm the same guy. And it's, speaking about Sophie, she's got, God knows how many amazing followers now, and she's got these crazy views and stuff like that. And I won't be breaching anything confidential, but it wouldn't surprise me if there was a time where that was a question mark, that many people would be interested in that kind of content potentially. Maybe even me. Who's going to buy my offer for X amount of a coaching program? Well, someone fucking did. It's this is limitations. It's, who do you think you are? That doesn't exist. You can challenge it, and being able to take someone from an A to B over 3 months or 6 months. I've been working with clients for a couple of years now, some of them, and looking at how far they've come, how confident they are in their content, how much they're charging for their service, how much money they're making, where they're being invited out to for a project, and they're flying to Lisbon. It's just like, me going out to Dubai for a business thing. I didn't know I would be able to do that. I didn't know I could make certain amounts of money. And it's, going back to your question, what's it taught things about me and my coaching and what mindset can do? I don't know how people aren't doing it. I know it sounds really strange because a lot of people don't know about it, but that's why I refer to it as the matrix. Once you step out of this limited, so my program's called Limitless, my coaching program. And I really do believe in that. It's once you step out of this limited way of thinking and you say, cool, how much money do you want to make? Do you want to stand on stage? Do you want to build a coffee shop in where it doesn't matter? You can. And that's cliche. You can achieve whatever you want to. That would be classed by the wider population as cliche until you step into this work and achieve goals that you previously doubted, that you almost laugh, cry, whatever, at this limited way of thinking that so many of the population are stuck by their own, beliefs and stuff like that. And it's incredibly rewarding to be able to get people out their own way and moving forward. Not just monetary, not just, oh, Jack, I just signed this client for $1,500 a month and I was used to charge 500 a month, whatever that thing is. It's not, that's great, but it's like going through, it's like seeing people go through their day-to-day life with chains on, and they've got like they're bound and they can't move, and releasing those bounds is incredibly rewarding. So going back to your question, yeah, just doubling down, like, oh wow, this shit really works and it feels great, and you can kind of do what you want. It's yeah, beautiful is probably, for a lack of a better word.
Yeah, and I feel like there are not many times that I'll use social media and come across an account that literally like gives me joy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's so endearing. It's just so real. And like, I don't know. It's just like, there's just so much shit out there.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that she's been rewarded for that, and that, can spread that like awesome message. And it's so cool that you've been a part of that, and it's helped you in your work and reinforce what you're doing. And
Yeah,
I
it's
just think
amazing.
I think it can like only be a good thing. What do you think about, I'm thinking here about how teachable, doing something like that is. Like, can anyone just go out there and start doing silly dances in public or whatever, what's the difference between sort of like talent and discipline, the tension between those two things, right?
Anyone, man. Like I can't sit here and give an answer as to one limitation of that. That's then like I can give evidence to suggest that's like anyone could build a business, right? And of course, like there is going to be someone listening and be like, hey, yeah, but you don't know my situation. Like come on, we know there's of course limitations with internet connection or money or locate. Like, of course, let's not be silly. But if there are the means, then yeah, anyone. But I'm saying that based on my reality, on what I know. Someone who's never done this work before, who's gone through, let's say, as a 25-year-old listening, who's got a business idea, but they've gone through 25 years of doubt being thrown at them, teachers saying they couldn't achieve anything, friends laughing at them, being bullied, being, you know, having really bad treatment in relationships, parenting wasn't great. Their internal representation is, Jack, you don't fucking know me. I can't do that, because that's their world and that's their beliefs. So again, it goes back to my message of, yeah, but what if you believe different? You know, so anyone can do these things. If I want it, I've got into golf this year, or sorry, last year. Fucking hard, that sport. Why did I even bother? But I could go to scratch. I can get my handicap down to scratch if I paid for lessons every single day, practiced every single day, quit business and tried to play golf. I could do that if I wanted to. Like, why can't I? If someone else has, like, why can't I? Yes, talent, skill, natural born skill and talent. We can't ignore those things. But what a limited way of thinking. If I was to go through my day and be like, I'm never going to get down to scratch golf. I'm never going to have a perfect round, and well, not perfect round, but hit par on my local course. What a limited, frustrating, disempowering, like hesitant, all the other negative words. What a way to live. That's my reality, and that's my language I'd use to describe it. So yeah, in short answer to your question, anyone, if they're open to it and they believe they can do it.
Yeah, I think I do think quite a lot about the future. How's the next 5 to 10 years going to play out in terms of this AI revolution that we're seeing, and is everyone, how much unemployment is going to be, what jobs are going to be available, etc. And I'm sure, because you're in a similar space to me, you probably feel similar, but it's like, I feel like personal brand is like such a huge protection for whatever's coming.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. I'm not worried about AI. Someone would then, an AI expert would say, yeah, but have you thought, no, but dude, if I believe you, I feel limited. Fuck that. So I'm saying I have a belief of, well, if I want to work with a coach, I'm working with a human being that understands emotion, understands behavior. I want to see them see my facial expression when they ask me a question. AI can't do that. I don't believe that. So I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Because I believe what I'm saying to be true, and it makes me feel limitless, right? And I can then continue to grow a business. And I think, alternative reality Jack, who is worried about AI, he's waking up anxious. He's going to bed anxious. He's going to not post content. Limit. Business flatlines, right? So it's like my own opinion that I've forged creates my belief that I'm going to be fine and I'll take over AI. I get my borderline sound ignorant now, but hopefully you get what I'm saying. Like, I believe in what you're saying: personal brand, personality, authenticity, connection, human connection. Yeah, I believe there's enough of us around to not worry about it so much. Because if I was to worry about it, I'm limited. I'm limiting myself. Nothing to do with AI.
Yes.
It's not AI's problem. It's my problem thinking I'm limited. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I think, yeah, another like thing that just came to me then was like, I'm having this, okay, so me, forget the audience for a minute, but me having this conversation with you, interviewing you, is enjoyable because of your backstory, because of your imperfections, because of all this, whatever, fill in the blank. Technically I could sit across from a GPT that's trained on something similar to what you would teach, and go, okay, teach me about mindset coaching.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I think the people that talk about, even podcasts that gets talked about AI podcasts, like that seems to be a bit of a thing and are doing well in some spaces or whatever. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to be, because we want the stories, and I almost feel like the more it happens, you'll get an inverse response in terms of people really resisting it and going,
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to AI Joe Rogan.
No.
You know, like give me something that's a little bit messy.
Yeah. It's the I think connection. There's a big piece on I was doing a bit of research and I was putting together a training on like delivering content, not from a business strategy perspective, but just from like a how to hold yourself in content and stuff like that. I was talking about authority. And like one of the big pieces of authority that a lot of people overlook is connection and vulnerability. So in order to, let's say I was going to buy from you, I would need to, first of all, know you. So I need to know a bit of your story, what fucking team you support, what your favorite bread is. I don't give a shit. Like, I need to know you a little bit. Then I'd need to connect with some of those dots and I need to like you. But in order to do that, I would need to see an element of vulnerability that I could then connect to then see you as an authority. That's where the trust factor then comes in. It's the no like trust. And, any business owner knows that. Can't get that from AI because AI is just programmed by someone to like fill in the blanks of what everyone else is pummeling into it. I mean, I don't even talk about AI that much because it's just not on my radar.
I was thinking about this yesterday, and there's always a how should I say it, like a vacuum effect in terms of, so if you if society opinion shifts one way, that leaves a space. And that's why you'll always have left and right. You'll always have hot and cold. Like there's always, because as soon as someone vacates a space or a concept vacates a space, someone else will want to go and fill it. You know, so it's like this counter movement or whatever. And so, yeah, slightly abstract point, but it's yeah. I was thinking another topic which feeds into that I've been thinking a lot about is like the courage to be disliked, and it taps into this social media thing as well, and being authentic and sharing your experience and stuff. And it's like, again, if everyone liked you, like, that doesn't make sense. Not everyone can, literally not, you can't expect everyone in the planet to like you, because that'd be strange anyways. And it's like, okay, so if you are very popular, say really popular in your town or whatever, well, what do you think? There's going to be a space over there full of, where it's like, oh, there's a little space over there where people that don't like Jason, but there's no one filling it.
Yeah.
And I just think it's just human nature, isn't it? Because then that allows that other person to gain status or whatever from the opposing view.
Yeah. I think it's the concept of like everything has an opposite is so important here. So like popularity wouldn't exist if dislike exists. If everyone liked you, the concept of being liked wouldn't exist because it would just be the normal. Like to a fish, oxygen and above sea doesn't exist because they're in the fucking water. Nothing exists other to them, right? So it's like I've been obviously playing golf, like I said, and my mate said, "Mate, you can't hit every shot. Golf will be fucking boring." And it was like, "Oh yeah, that's fair. I'll just get a hole in one every time. I get 18. Great. I'll go home. Like, it'd be boring. I wouldn't play it." So it's that understanding that I think doesn't cure everything, but it helps you understand how to take these concepts and apply it to your own life. I've had many hate comments, but it makes the nice comments good, right? So it's like it's everything has an opposite. But I'm trying to remember what you said about the courage to be disliked and having polarizing opinions. I think it and here's what triggers a lot of people, but I'm not fucking afraid to say it. Again, I'm actually almost embodying what I'm about to say. Is like, how, again, limiting would it be to just simply live by other people's opinions of you and not do certain things because of what people think, and want to do something but shut it down just what other people think about you? Like, business is a big part of that, especially in this day and age with content and stuff. Your friends and family aren't going to get it. People online aren't going to get it. Stop scamming me, you coach. Stop selling me your course. Like, I'm not going to fucking sell to you, so I'm not really bothered by them, but it would impact other people. So I think the courage to be disliked is a huge asset to obtain in order to take steps to where you want to be. It's an incredibly empowering place to be. Like, coming from that personally, it's really fucking powerful, and you can achieve, again, sounding cliche, you can achieve so many things, have so many more experiences if you just be more okay with who you think you are, and the opinions of other people are just so much weaker because of that, if that makes sense. And it's a pretty powerful place to be, because no one can take that from you.
Yeah, 100%. I think I've been I've been experimenting with my own content recently, just trying out new things, different ways of doing things, podcasts in the car, sorry, film myself in the car, like just trying to break out of, because I can get very structured in terms of like what I do, and it's like, oh, okay, I'll sit behind here and I'll do only this type of content or whatever. So like looking at more the short form stuff, and one of the things, like, I'm obsessed with this song at the moment, this Disclosure tune, and every time it comes on the car, I get like emotional and just like, and I'm just like fucking, but. And I thought to myself, because I've been recording all this content in the car, I was like, I'm going to film myself like just fucking vibing to this song and just put on my story. Never done that before. It's like a new thing for me. Bit embarrassing, you know. But I was like, and I posted it and I had a really mixed reaction, you know, in terms of like some people, and usually, you know, those people that you can tell the people that really want you to win, you know, like heart signs and stuff like that. And then there's like a bit of a mix of like people like laughy face, and then a comment that was just like a little bit derogatory. And it was like, and it really riled me for like the first hour. And it's funny because I'd literally been talking about this courage to be disliked thing. But then when it happens to you, it's so hard to actually fucking drop into that space of, well, you know, this is fine, this is a feature. But I suppose it kind of makes you like, okay, well, you know, is there something there? Is there something there I'm not missing? Do you know what I mean? Like, past just like, oh, I'm being cringe, but like, is there something there that like, am I doing something selfish? Do you know what I mean? And I'm trying to investigate it. And I'm like, no, like, I posted that because I was feeling emotional from the song, and I wanted to share that with other people and share the song to be like, do you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't performing. It was just kind of, but because people they haven't seen that version of me before. Fucking dancing like a dickhead in the car, like proper cringe, sprinkle of autism, whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know. You know what my question is here, but it's just, I suppose it's just reinforcing what we were saying about that. Yeah, being courageous enough to share those things isn't always going to be easy. And I suppose I sometimes think that I've cracked the vulnerability thing, you know, because I'll come on the show and I'll talk about whatever trauma or sex lives and stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, like vulnerability, I've done that, tick. But then there's a different like view of it, which is whatever, me singing songs in the car. It's another level of vulnerability because I'm showing people a different side to me, and then when I don't like the response, it's like, oh, it like freaks me out.
Fair. Very human of you to be impacted by the views of others. It's no problem. For me personally, like it just highlights there's potentially something that can be tweaked. So like, for example, you know, I can obviously switch my coaching head off when you were like, I don't know what your words were, but it was, you know, I saw some laughing faces, saw some comments, or it was a little bit embarrassing. I instantly in my head went, well, why is it embarrassing? And your answer probably would have been, well, what do they think about me? Well, okay, well, there is, you're worried about what people think about you. So what then happens if you had this 110% sense of self? Their laughing face would, you just laugh at it because it just doesn't care. It just wouldn't even register. Yeah. It would just be like, I get your opinion of me is embarrassing. My opinion of that isn't. Mine's stronger than yours. Crack on. So it just highlights there's room for tweaking a perspective to, again, it's not good or bad, that it would be serving of you to then make more content on it because you want to.
Yeah, I think Because think about it, then I suppose it's like, and as well, living in this country, do you know what I mean? We don't like, was it tall poppy syndrome?
Oh, what, people want you to do good, but not as good as them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, and especially, you know, I live very close to like Barrow Furnace where we build ships, and it's very cut off from the rest of the world, and it's,
Yeah.
you know, horizons are somewhat limited, because of the social fabric and the geography of the area. And I suppose I think to myself, I'm like, it's almost like, but it's weird how those social comments kind of do keep you in check. Because I think to myself, like, or try, like, I think to myself, yeah, but oh, that's not how I dance. I wouldn't dance like that if I was in public. But it's not because I was performing for the camera. It's because no, I dance like that when no one's watching. Because I'm not confident enough to do that in the pub or on the dance floor. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, so that's what it means to you, and that's your reality and your perspective, and you're the fucking one who created it. So like, it quite literally, this is such a throwaway comment because I'm like, yeah, no, I agree, but like, their opinion doesn't matter.
yeah.
But there's reasons why it doesn't matter. And everything we're talking about here is why their opinions don't matter. Because you created the content because that's how you dance when nobody's watching. And the hidden message there is empowerment, confidence, showing the true side of you. Full stop, period, end of. Someone else's comment of it, you get to pick how that impacts you. That's what we're talking about here. Is that cool? Is it pissing you off? Yeah. Why? Embarrassed? Why? Yeah, that process starts of like being inquisitive of why it's bothering you. And then you get to the end of the work, which is, well, I'm super empowered and confident about who I am as a person. Their comment is just a comment. It's not my reality. You can have it. Cheers. Crack on. I'll focus on something else. And then you move through it. You know, new level, new devil. You know, you reach a new level, you got a new devil to fight, and then you just keep it moving.
Yeah, it's funny. And there's so many, like, so much crossover here, isn't it, with like this whole social media, and you know, we've been talking about Sophie and her work, and
yeah, how did we get here?
you know, it's yeah, fascinating. But yeah, I think it's one of those things, isn't it, where it's like, that's probably the thing I need to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, to slay that dragon, we need to do. I feel like now I'm like, okay, I need to do more embarrassing, silly dancing in the car or whatever it, you know.
Yeah, agreed. But what I have a bit of a not a problem with, like, I guess because it's you know, I can't be ignorant. So everyone should know mindset work, or every coach should you know how to educate stuff, because they don't. So I can't be that ignorant. But when I hear, and it's a lot in the fitness industry as well, where I hear like just, you know, how to build confidence, just go to the gym, just do it. Like, just do it. That's how you build undeniable confidence, just do it. And I'm like, if it was as fucking easy as that for the average person who doesn't know about this stuff, they'd have fucking done it already. And I think it's of course it's a me problem. I don't get that frustrated. I don't fucking throw my phone at the wall. I'm just like, come on, man, or woman, or whoever. Like, there's reasons why people aren't doing things. And I think the whole like, oh, you need to just do it. I'm like, no, yeah, okay, cheers. I knew that already. But understanding why you're not doing something, rewiring that, shifting how you think about yourself, then allows the doing of the thing to be 100x easier, you know? So like with what you just said there of, or maybe I need to just drop my bottle there, apologies. Maybe I just need to like make more content on it, and maybe then I'll feel more confident. I'd be like, well, actually, give me 10 reasons why you should feel confident in who you are and how you dance, and write it down for me. You'll feel way more confident to then record the next video. It's in here first. Like, it's your perspective. Does that make sense? Like, it's how you think about it first that then makes the execution so much easier, because your fear has gone down. What embarrassment.
Yeah, it's like I need to rewrite the code in so I can refer back to it next time I feel, because otherwise I will just put it out and I'll probably get the same response and just repeat the process.
You got it.
And then I'll just end up feeling adapting to the discomfort rather than, you know, 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 adapting to the dis avoiding that discomfort. Is that right?
And it will work. It will work if you did it every day for a week. By the end of the week, you'd feel more confident, and like it works. That's you are rewiring your subconscious by exposing yourself to new things. New neural pathways get created. You think in a new direction. Your subconscious takes in and says, "Oh, that's what we do now. We're good." You've shifted your identity. But what we do / I do is try to fast track that. And saying, well, you can think exactly how you want to, and then you've cracked the code already. And it's that then empowering action that then reinforces it. So yeah, both works. It's just my thing is getting people to understand that the reason they're not doing certain things, or the reason they do certain things which aren't serving them, is up here. People tend to look out, but you need to look in first. Business owners primarily, which is my niche. Business is slow, not making any sales. Oh, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my strategy? Well, there's nothing wrong with your strategy. You know what to do. You're just limiting yourself with doubts, fears, etc., etc. So again, coming off of that, it's people are looking out for a solution. They need to look in. That's one of the most cliche things I've said on this podcast thus far. But it's looking within that will then reveal these answers. We've just done it for your example. Element of fear of judgment got spiked of someone saying it was embarrassing for you to dance like that, just for argument's sake. And it's like, okay, cool. Now I know what to work on if you wanted to work on it. Do you know what I mean? That's how you then highlight that stuff.
It's funny actually, because I was like, right, I've got a lot of questions here, and then I might just say, like, we'll do a bit at the end where, like, let's do a little sample of some of the questions you'd asked me to, like, find out what, like, if there's anything wrong with me, and then we've literally just basically found it, but it wasn't my intention at all.
Man, the universe done its thing, man. Just led us in that direction.
Yeah, interesting. All right, one of the things I was thinking about was, you have, the classic breakthrough clients, that they're in X place and then they transform themselves and now they're super successful business owner and the rest of it. But what are the telltale signs or like commonalities that someone is in this, the like liminal space, like just before a breakthrough? Does that make sense? Where they're like scratching at the edges, or like you can spot it in someone like they're about to like level up, even if they don't know it yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they're getting pissed off. Like I was on a call with someone earlier and they were like, this is my time now. Like, my kids are grown up, uni, it's my time now. And I feel like they just get to the end of their tether, to be honest. Part of my job creating content is to get people to just like fucking wake up, realizing there's like potential to be obtained or to be fulfilled. And that's one of my big fears, is to not reach my potential and have the experiences that are available to me. So yeah, I think when people are on the edge, it's almost like a precipice. They're kind of standing over the precipice and they're like, something needs to give, something needs to shift. And that's where like the breakthrough comes in. And I can often tell with like emotions and hearing it in people's voices that there's something there. And that's where we push, that's where we prod and try to trigger some sort of change. But yeah, again, going back to, I think one of the first things we spoke about was the whole how to listen out for cliches and what's legit. But that quote or phrase where it's like, change happens when pain of staying the same is worse than the pain of changing, whatever that phrase is, something like that. That's pretty fucking true. That's pretty true. Just being sick of your full-time job and treating your business as a side hustle. Yeah. Like, you're probably going to push your business if you're being made redundant, because you're on the edge of like movement. So I think for me, I've noticed is when people just get a little bit fed up of letting themselves standing their own way, and it can be quite annoying. So get out your own way. That's where we have the conversations. It's like, cool, well, like, what happens if you got out your own way then? That's that's my personal experience. It's that frustration of being like, I guess, like realizing that I'm the one who's standing in my way. It's kind of annoying because I've got no one else to blame.
Yeah, it's classic rock bottom, isn't it? That's yeah, that's that's quite the drug.
But it's kind of exciting though.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. You mentioned drinking early on.
Mm,
You still drink?
not really. I
Yeah.
hate being drunk. I
Okay.
hate being drunk. I don't like, well, yeah, I don't like not being in control first and foremost,
Mhm.
but I also, I hate feeling sick. I hate hangovers. I hate that normal. So obviously, no one likes it, but I just have a big problem with it. But also, I don't like. I've spent years trying to craft a mindset and a life experience that I enjoy, and when I drink, that fades.
Mm,
I've never articulated it like that before. That for me is a good articulation of how I experience being drunk. I enjoy a drink. Like if I'm out with Christmas, I was drinking quite regularly, but I never got drunk. So I was like having a few beers with the boys, glass of wine for dinner, Christmas Day, few cans, because it was just enjoyable because I like the taste of like Jubal Peach IPA because it's gluten free and I can't have gluten. Fucking lovely. I'll have a few of those. Beautiful. Glass of wine in an Italian restaurant in Rome. I'm enjoying it. So yeah, I drink through the enjoyment of the drink, but I don't get drunk because then again, my reality skews. I don't feel good. So like, it's almost like, doing all that work to get to a headspace that I like and love because I used to hate it, and then and then I spend money to feel shit physically and think shit.
mm,
Doesn't make any sense to me. And of course, like we don't go out with the boys every weekend now. I'm like kind of settling down, so it doesn't make any sense from a, you know, logistical point of view of life. But yeah, that's not my bag anymore. And I also just don't like, okay, this is a very broad statement. When people get drunk, they're not them anymore most of the time. And I have a big problem with that. Really big problem with that. So I kind of just the whole being drunk association, I'm like, not really clicking with that
mm.
energy anymore, you know? So I like good conversation and sober experiences.
Yeah, I think I haven't drank for coming up 3 years, and it's looking at like the quality of the conversations is
Uh,
just so much. I can go out with people that are drinking, but 9:30, 10 o'clock, it's pretty much you'll be chatting to someone, and then all of a sudden they'll just go. You feel like you're connecting,
yeah.
and then they'll just go like, "Yeah," and they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh,"
yeah,
and their
yeah.
attention span is just gone, and you
Yeah.
realize, oh, what I thought was happening here, thought we were connecting.
Mm.
Probably the last 20 minutes of it, like, haven't gone in, or or you're not going to remember, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like the effect that that has on you as well. It's like, oh, well, that was
It's
a
really
fucking
annoying.
waste of time.
Yeah, incredibly demoralizing. I also find that like small talk, I just can't really do well with small talk anymore.
Mm,
I like good convo. Well, we've been chatting for over an hour now, and it's like almost the blink of an eye. Like, I very much enjoy intellectual, enjoyable, meaningful conversation about something, like trying to make a change or trying to make an impact. I don't walk around fucking coaching everyone at a bar, but I've got my boys, and we just reminisce over lads' holidays for the last 10 years, and we have a laugh. And like, I'm not changing. That's
yeah,
great. That's
yeah.
great fun. But you know, I like good conversation. So my circle is now, when I'm going out, it's good conversation. So yeah, like being drunk and then just mumbling shit and also saying things you don't mean.
Hmm.
That's obviously I've had experiences with that has impacted my perspective on being with people who are drunk, saying things you don't mean. That's a big red flag with me. So yeah, the whole like being drunk thing, not for me.
Yeah, and like you say, yeah, saying things that you don't mean. Like I haven't even thought about it like that. Because sometimes I have a tendency to give people just to kind of like always take people at their word.
Mm,
And I sometimes don't even notice it when they're drunk, if that makes sense.
mm-hmm,
And I'll be like, and maybe even I can think of a time when I got into a bit of a row with one of my mates,
mm,
and I was kind of still like ruminating on it, or like, me and so and so were this, and he was saying this, and I just feel like, and I'm like, hold on a minute, he was drunk. but because of like, I don't know, I've still, but like, oh, there's something there. But it's like, but people do say shit that they don't mean when they're drunk, you know?
Yeah, it just triggers part. Like I can admit that it just, for me personally, kind of resonate on what you're saying. Like there is shit that's been said to me when the other person's been drunk that I know is still bothering me because that's a me problem. But like then I can't help but think, well, what happens if we weren't drunk in the first place? None of this shit would have happened. Like this level of thinking wouldn't have even existed right now. That would have been such a better time. Da, 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 da. Then you've got the butterfly effect. Who fucking knows? But that's another conversation. So yeah, I just try to avoid it. Peace of mind.
Yeah, defo. Have you got like any? What about the clients that kind of you couldn't help? Is there any like, you know, and obviously don't use concrete examples, but any like times when, you know, that haunts you where it just didn't work out for one reason or another, and what were the conditions that set that outcome in place?
Yeah, for sure, man. There's definitely been clients where it hasn't worked out. You know, any coach that says otherwise is got to be fucking lying.
You never hear about them, or you never see the body transformations and stuff.
Yeah.
That never happened.
Hear about the clients leaving halfway through a program.
Yeah.
It's part of the game. Like coach and client relationships is a 50-50. So you have to do 100% of your 50%. The client has to do 100% of their 50%. That's how that shit works. The big things that I've noticed, fear drives a lot of it. Now, obviously, my space, especially over the recent years, has been obviously with business owners, other coaches and stuff coming through. They don't quit because they run out of money. They don't quit because they don't have the knowledge. They don't quit or slow down, slow down, whatever. Like it's fear. It's doubt that it's going to work out, and it's frustration when things slow down and they then fucking give up. It's all a mindset thing. So I think fear and doubt is one of the biggest ones. Doubt about things working out and getting frustrated that it's taking so long is why people slow down. And you could give, okay, let's talk about like business, for example, and social media. I can give someone, not that I ever have done this or ever will, I can give someone a 7-day content plan. I can produce the fucking content for them. All they've got to do is post. They wouldn't do it because the doubt is so high. The fear of failure is so high. So doubt and fear is a big, big driver in those quote unquote cases where things don't actually move. But then the big one, and of course there's reasons behind it. I think I've said it in this podcast already. There's a reason why people don't do things. But the big one is inaction. Is what I call as a, you know, part of our 3-phase process and the Limitless system program. Phase 3 is what I call the continual push. The continual push is a prerequisite for you need, in order to achieve things you've never had, you have to continually push your edge. I'm sounding like a real coach now, but like if you're not pushing, if you're not doing new things and being uncomfortable and being scared, you're always going to have the same results. And I think that is on a conscious level so obvious, but people still fucking do it and expect new results. And it's like the whole Einstein theory, right? Like madness or insanity was doing the same thing, expecting different results. And it is that. So for example, how I run my program is 1 hour call, typically every 2 weeks. For some clients, it's every month, depending on how things look. And we'll be chatting Monday to Friday throughout the weeks. When we have a deep dive call and we have an amazing subconscious shift, you know, we remove decades worth of fear of failure through one event when they were 10 years old. And we have a perfect subconscious shift. Belief is refueled, clean slate, good to go. And they do fuck all different over that 2 or 4 week period. All the work eradicates. Self-trust gone. You know, if whoever's listening right now, the evidence or reason or rationale I have for this, you've probably got someone in your life that you really, really like and really, really love because you trust them. It works the same way of ourselves. If we say we're going to do something and we set the intention and we don't do it, the self-trust dwindles and shortens and gets weaker. And the next call, whatever comes around, it's like, oh, how's the last few weeks been? Not really much has changed. I wonder fucking why. Because nothing like changed in terms of your actions. So your self-trust is probably even less than what it was when we had that initial conversation. So it's the inaction between very good conversations that really weakens progression. it is textbook. And yeah, that's happened many times, and it will happen many times again and again, because it just doesn't work out for everyone. And that'll be the same across the board throughout coaching, consultancy, teaching. Not every student's going to get an A star, right? But they're all taught the same stuff. So it's probably very, very similar concepts, I'd say. Through my experience anyway. That's just what I've noticed.
Yeah. If I gave you 90 seconds to deliver a message to everyone on Instagram who was looking for some advice and wanted to change, what would you say to them?
Figure out what it is that you are resisting against, like what you're afraid of, why you're afraid of it. Just get super, super curious on what your blockers are. Almost get like a little brush and a little chisel and start excavating on your own brain. Write down on a pen and paper, like what you think about yourself. When you go to achieve X goal, what emotions come up? Why is that emotion coming up? Just get super fucking curious. Of course, like I can reach out to someone for help first and foremost. But if you're not doing that and you want to do it by yourself, get curious on what your blockers are. And then 90 seconds, start feeling better on your day to day. So like human basics, sunlight, food, water, exercise, mindfulness, connection, all that stuff. Make yourself feel good. It's a prerequisite for movement. And then just literally, like, imagine there's a gun to your head and you have to move forward. What's your next baby step? Take it. Rinse and repeat all these processes over and over and over again. Be your own best friend. Positive journaling. Make yourself feel good. Take the next step. Rinse and repeat. It's pretty hard to not move forward if you're doing that. Or just reach out to me and I'll give you a hand. But if there's a first step, you need to get clear. You need to get aware on what your limitations are, and then go to work and start chipping away at them.
Nice. Yeah, I think what's amazing as well is last year I had a very good year, and in terms of achieving stuff and goals and all the rest of it. And it's funny because in some ways, like, I got loads done, right? But I also look back on it and I go, kind of didn't do that much. But I don't mean that in a way to say that I was being lazy. What I mean is, it's not that hard. Like, to just continually move on, like just move the needle a little bit every day or every month. I mean, to be fair, for me, I do basically like 6-week goals. So what will happen is I do all the work on week 6 or week 5, but because I have quite a tight deadline, it means that basically I've got like 8 big blocks in the year where I'll ship a lot of work. And then, and even if I miss 30-40% of them, I've still got quite a lot done in the year because I'm still like doing stuff. But yeah, that's one of the things that I realized, where it's like a year flies by, and it's like you can use that. We all moan about getting older, don't we? And it's like you can use that to your advantage. At least there's some upsides to getting old, that it comes around really quick, so you might as well just start investing in yourself.
Well, yeah, what's the opposite of getting old, man? No one wants that. The opposite's dying. So like getting old's not a bad thing.
Yeah, definitely. All right, mate, this has been really fun. Have you anything you want to touch on before we start to wrap this up?
Mate, no, I think this has been a productive and hopefully helpful conversation. I feel like we've covered off certain areas for a different type of person to talk to. I think one thing I will say is I think podcasts should be almost like a little mini self-development book, if it's around that type of topic, which I feel like this one kind of is. And I think the good thing about a self-development book / podcast or whatever is like actually take some shit away and do something with it. I feel like a problem with like reading a mindset book or a self-development book or even a podcast is just having this almost like just taking on board stuff and not actually doing anything with it. And it's such a big problem. People just like flirt with the idea of, oh yeah, I listen to loads of podcasts and read loads of books. I'm like, yeah, but like you're doing fuck all with it. So what's the point?
Entertainment over action.
Yeah, it's almost like mental masturbation. It's just like, oh, I'm learning, but what are you doing with it? So I would just say, if you've like listened to this whole podcast, which you hopefully have, you would be if you're still listening to this, is like actually do something different with this information. Like just one thing. I think people underestimate the power of a 0.1% improvement in a day, which can have a disgustingly good compound interest effect over the next 12 months. But I think it's just drawing a line in the sand. So if anything's resonated from this conversation, make a note of it and just change one thing for tomorrow. And then like you're good to go. I think it's when you try to change a million things that you don't change anything. It's like you try to chase two rabbits, you're not going to catch either of them, right? So just trying to implement one thing. So yeah, that's one thing I would touch on, is just like, if you actually want to make change, stop. This is my language. Stop fucking about and actually do something about it. Take one thought, one action, one change, one curiosity, and move. Don't let this just be another hour and 20 or hour and 30-minute thing that you've pondered on, made yourself feel good, then wake up tomorrow and do the same thing. It's just nonsense.
Yeah, I love that. Like, little call to action. Yeah, so if you're listening, get something, put something in place. Like, send that email, reach out to that person, whatever it like. Just do something.
Whatever it is.
Get up off the couch, wash that plate.
Yeah, update your phone. Take the bins out.
Yeah. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it might be the washing up, though. As someone who sometimes lets that get on top of him, sometimes that is the thing, right?
Yeah, honestly, the chain reaction of things is so big. I was struggling with like discipline at the start of this year. I had an illness and whatever, and I was like, do you know what I did? This sounds so silly, but say for example, I'm like, I need to cut the corner off the top of a bag of pasta, and I'll leave the corner of that little plastic bag on the side, and I'll put it in the bin after I've dished up. I'm like, no, just put it in the bin now. And seriously, then when I go to then brush my teeth, I'm like, okay, I'll use a tongue scraper again tonight as well as the morning. It's just those those little tiny micro decisions really then bleed into, okay, fuck it, I'll just write the next podcast script, or I'll record the YouTube video.
Yeah,
because you've just built up this little muscle. And like, we laugh about it, but seriously, those little micro decisions really fuck you up if they go the other way as well. Really, really bad. My desk is a mess right now, so this is a message to me to sort my shit out. But yeah, those little micro wins, they're great. They really build up over time.
Yeah,
love those.
Love it. Yeah, and just sometimes I'll do, like, let's say, let's say the place is a mess, or I've got to do a podcast prep or whatever, and it's like, well, can I do a minute?
Yeah. Trick it.
So, yeah, so I'll do, all right, 60 seconds, and I'll try to do as much washing up as possible, or 60 seconds, and I'll do as much podcast guest prep. And it's just that activation, isn't it? Where like, and then I start doing it, and then I'm like, well, I might as well just finish it.
Yeah, exactly. It builds a muscle. One thing, like they call it a presupposition in NLP, which is almost like laws to live by, is how you do anything is how you do everything. Like, it's a really, really nice thing to live by. So for example, if you are, let's say you're trying to build a business, but you never do things on time and you always delay things, you're going to reply to your clients late. You're going to miss some notes on the consultation. Like, that's going to fucking happen.
Yeah. Sounds familiar. Love it. Yeah, this has been loads of fun, and I appreciate you digging into a few of those little limiting beliefs that were acting as gremlins and are acting as gremlins. So I've got something for myself to work on as well.
You're welcome. Can't take the coaching hat off, man. It just stays on all the time.
Good.
Can't switch it off.
No, I'm very forthcoming as well with if I notice something. So it's a nice nice dynamic. So thank you very much.
Mate, that's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Where should people go if they want to check out all of your stuff?
Yeah, if they want to listen to my dulcet tones, yeah. So Instagram is my main hiding place. It's a good place where I love conversation. I love conversing with people in the DMs. It's a great place to do that and share content. So yeah, Instagram is my thing, and my @ or whatever it's called, my little profile. So Jack Tipper _coach is my name. If you want to reach out, have a little chit chat. I love helping people in the DMs. Like, generally, just like, I'm struggling with this, cool, let's diagnose it in a couple of messages. So please don't hesitate to message me if anyone is curious. I love a good voice note back and forth.
Love it. Yeah, and I will put your stuff in the show notes, episode description, etc. So people can check out your work, and I would definitely recommend that they do so.
Thank you, mate. Much appreciated.